So today we are going to start on the new topic, which is actually inventory management. And it is very much related to supply chain management, very much. Okay. Can you see the slide, right? Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we're going to explore on inventory management. It used to be called inventory control. So they have actually, changed that to inventory management. Okay, so it is related to supply chain, and basically, it gives Amazon.com as the company that is actually managing inventory very well. Okay, because we talk about operations management, one of them is how we manage our inventory, including the supply chain, but it's very specific to inventory control and inventory planning and management. We look at the importance of inventory. What are the how to manage inventory models, and also I will introduce to you inventory model for independent demand or things that you buy that doesn't depend on the other things. It's independent. It's independent. For example, you buy computers, you buy televisions. It is a direct consumer independent demand. But when you have a factory and you want to build up cars, then the demand is dependent on how many you're going to produce. Okay, that's dependent demand, and we'll look at that. We'll look at one model, which is economic order quantity model. Okay, and if we have time, we'll look at probabilistic models and safety stock, and controlling inventory using single period or fixed period system. Now, so Amazon.com, I think what most of you, well, you can call it, you can look at Alibaba also, or even Lazada today, Shopee, okay. It's actually started as a virtual retailer, no inventory, no warehouse, no overhead, just computers taking orders to fill by others. And because of the growth of e-commerce and internet purchasing, online purchasing, it's a leader in warehousing and inventory management. Imagine if you order some material, some parts or some things for your own consumer. Imagine how they are going to actually, when you place the order online, how they are going to actually pick up the so-called, so if you see the background, this is actually the warehouse, right? So this is the warehouse. Imagine these are orders lah. Probably these are orders. This is another order. So how are you going to pick that up in inventory, and also deliver to the customer? So this is why we call it, an integrated inventory management system is required. So the system is each order is assigned by computer to the closest distribution center. So Amazon.com doesn't have only in US, it has distribution centers all over the world. Okay, books, for example, maybe there are Singapore has this distribution center, and the so-called flow meister at each distribution center will assign work crews, and the workers will be using technology to pick up the correct items from the shelves. So they have to collect the items, and items are placed on conveyor in crates, bar-coded. So barcode scanners scan each item 15 times to eliminate errors. And the crates arrive at the central point where items are boxed and then labeled with a new barcode, because its new barcode is for shipment purposes. Okay, for the courier services to actually probably identify, right? Gift wrapping, completed box, and the order arrive at the customer within 1 to 2 days in US. Okay, in US. Okay, so imagine the flow from the customer's order online right until it reaches the customer. So this is a very synchronized and also systematic and clearly defined. So you need good inventory management. Where are the inventories? If you do not have the item, for example, you order a mouse, okay, a mouse, and there is no stock. So how are you going to fulfill the customer order? Where do you get the source of that particular item? Okay, so you need control. You need to check your stock. You need to count your stock. You need to know when to order. So these are the decisions. The decision inventory is when to order, how to order, how much to order. Okay. So in inventory control, so we'll look at this. There is a method for control purposes. We have this ABC analysis for inventory management, and we look at cycle counting. We look at EOQ models, and also you'll be able to actually calculate. We call it as the economic order quantity. Okay, EOQ or Q star, and also the reorder point and some safety stock. Okay, so hopefully by the end of this chapter you'll be able to do this. I'm not going to go to detail on production order quantity model. I'm going just to so-called explain in brief only. Okay, the production order quantity model, which is different from the EOQ model. Okay. And also quantity discount model. So companies, if you make decision on purchasing, you must have some models, right? So quantity discount, you buy based on discounts. If there is discount, is it cheaper to buy at a large volume? Okay. And other concepts like service levels and probabilistic inventory models. Now, so what is the objective of inventory management? Companies, I think you remember last time we talked about supply chain. Percentage of inventory against asset. Toyota is only 5%. Remember? Inventory for manufacturing average is around 15%. Okay, for retail and so on, they have some average. So we want to strike a balance between, when you say strike a balance between inventory investment and customer service. It means that we want to have sufficient amount of inventory, okay, in order for us to service our customers. If you do not have enough inventory, how are you going to fulfill customer demands? So that's very important, right? So you have, basically you have stocks, not stock, okay, you have inventory, okay, you have items. For example, completed handphones, okay, handphone in the market. So you must complete certain handphones before December, for example, because December is a very big, it's a lot of sales, there's a lot of festivals, Christmas, and so on. Okay, so for example, there is demand for, 20,000 of Samsung, what do you call, Note 10, now Note 10, is it? Or iPhone, now is what, iPhone 12, iPhone 11? I also don't know, I don't follow iPhone, okay? Okay, so there is a demand of 20,000. Now you make production and, to make production, you order. So can you meet this demand? So you must have, the balance between investment and how much you keep stock. So you have to keep stock in October, how many you already produced, November, then only you can meet the demand in that December, okay? So it's cost versus customer demands, okay? Right. So normally in companies, I think accountants don't like inventory because they say inventory is costly. You don't want to keep too much inventory. But to manufacturing people or to sales, for example, sales, they want to have the product when the customer comes. Okay, so that's very important to understand. We have seen this, that inventory, why is it important? What is the importance of inventory? Because it's one of the most expensive assets. In some companies, like until 50%, but of course not all companies until 50%. Okay. So it is very, very expensive. And secondly, so less inventory will lower costs but increase the chances of running out. I mentioned just now already. When there is, there is no inventory or there is no stock, it's not only for the customers. Okay, it's also for some other categories of inventory. Well, I will show you after this. For example, maintenance, spare parts. They need spare parts to keep the machine running. If not, the machine won't run. So you can lower the cost, but there is a probability of stock out. Okay, there is a probability of stock out. Stock out means no stock. Customer will find another competitor. Okay, so that's the what is important. But at the same time, more inventory will increase costs. Increase cost to the manufacturer or to the retailer, but will always keep customer happy. Okay, so you have to, that's what I mean by balance. Okay, balancing the inventory cost with customer service. Okay, what is the function of inventory? When we say function, you mean the purpose. What's the purpose? Okay. Of course, the first main objective of having inventory is to provide a selection of goods for customers, okay, for anticipated demand. I mean, customers will have the choice to buy. And there is, when you go to the shop, you want to buy this, new handphone or new computer. There is stock, okay? So that is the first thing. And of course, to separate the firm from fluctuation in demand means they will be able to meet the demand, okay? There will be some fluctuation, but of course, when the customer tries to buy the product, it is available. Basically, to meet demand. First objective is to meet demand. Okay. So that is probably the, I would say this is, it covers from raw material, finished good, and so on. Okay. Number two is, do you know the meaning of decouple? Decouple, it means, it says here separate. For example, in a production process, you need the metal to be cut. Okay, when you buy the metal, it's not yet cut. So the next process is joining. So this is decouple. So you need to have stock in between. For example, this is what you call cutting station. And this is the welding. So you need here, stock here. So to decouple or to separate between two different processes, okay? And also, in many manufacturing, they have this. In retail also, they have this, okay? And the third function is to take advantage of quantity discounts. Yes, sometimes we build up stock because we are going to use it, okay? And provided the item is not perishable or the item can last long. You cannot, buy items which are perishable. The life is, there is a shelf life, very short shelf life. due dates, it will deteriorate. Okay, so to take advantage of quantity discounts and to hedge against inflation. So that's why they hedge, they buy oil, especially commodity. Okay, especially commodity. They try to buy in advance. For example, they buy oil 6 months. Airline, they do this, but today because there is pandemic, you don't hedge it. Okay, you don't buy it in advance anymore. Okay, so for other things probably. Okay, for things related to medical probably. So these are the functions of inventory. Yeah? Now, types of inventory. So these are all the various types of inventory. So, at all stages of any value adding process, okay, right from raw material, work in process, or MRO, or finished goods. So this is the main inventory. Raw material, you have not processed. For example, you want to produce furniture. Furniture using wood. So the wood that you buy is raw material, the log, the timber, the wood, okay, that's purchased but not processed. Once you cut the wood, once you do some change, okay, once you form it but not completed, so this is called work in process. For example, in car manufacturing, painted body, that means painted car body is work in process. It is not completed. It is not finished good. Okay, finished good is completed computer. Work in process is the process of installing the hard disk on the computer. So that is work in process. Installing the cover for this. Okay, so that is work in process. So completed is finished goods. Finished good. So this is typical raw material, work in process, finished good. And you can see this. But there is also this category, which is maintenance, repair, and operating inventory, or spare parts. Do you know spare parts? Parts that you actually keep to keep machine and process running. You have a screw, spare part. You have this a pump. You have this, in your rooms also you have spare parts, to make sure that, your battery. Why you keep battery? Because, you want to make sure that the equipment runs. Okay, so MRO, remember, maintenance, repair, operating. This is big stock for airline industry, okay, or even railway industry. Very big stock on maintenance, repair, operating, spare parts. Okay, so this is the material flow, right? So what is this? What type of inventory is that? Zoo, what type of inventory is this? This is timber log. What kind of inventory is that? Or anyone? What type of inventory is this? What type? A, B, C, D. Raw material, work in process, maintenance, finished good. Huh?
Raw material.
Hi. Very good. Okay. Raw material. This is raw material.
This is
Now,
raw material.
yes. Okay. So where is the work in process?
Okay.
Sorry. Work in process. Dochika.
Work in process is here.
This is
Like wait in queue and no.
This is not yet.
Runtime and output. Yeah.
This is the inventory. I'm talking about inventory. Any inventory things that have to be. This is MRO, you know, this you need to have, this is, if this thing goes up, this is blunt, this become wear out. This is MRO. Wakarimasu ka?
What's
MRO. Spare part for
MRO?
machine. If this tire, what do you call, tire wear out. So this tire is MRO. Okay. But of course, for this company, this is also considered as probably the finished good as well. Okay. But for other companies, this is probably their raw material. So a raw material for one company may be different from, so this become raw material for furniture manufacturing. Understand? So I'm a furniture manufacturer. I make furniture. I make, you know, chairs, tables. So this plywood becomes my raw material. Okay. So and become your, you know, your finish and so on. So you look at the, because this is the supply chain until here. The supply chain can continue actually. The supply chain is only until the process timber. Okay. But anyway, let me see what happened to this. Right. So this is the material flow cycle. So you can identify which are the raw material, what they call finished goods, where are the so-called work in process. Okay. Okay, I'm going to introduce to you the classification of inventory. So remember, this is classification. Why we need to classify? Very important to classify because we want to know which are more important to be what they call manage and control. So we need to classify. So it's called ABC analysis. ABC analysis is a method of classifying. Okay. And also another important thing in managing inventory is your records. Inventory records must be accurate. So you want to know how accurate that your inventory records can be maintained. It depends on the items actually. So in ABC analysis, we are going to divide inventory into 3 classes. Okay, it is actually let me see. Okay, we are going to divide inventory into 3 classes based on annual dollar volume. When you say annual dollar volume, it means how much is the value of the inventory annually. So highest, the high value will be classified as A. Those medium value will be classified as B. And those low value will be classified as C. And why we need to do this classification? Because we want to establish policies for monitoring, for counting, you know, for controlling purposes. So you want to actually identify those few critical parts, vital, okay? For example, MRO. MRO, if you know, screws, you don't want to count your screws every day, you know, you're going to probably just weigh them, weight them, okay? So this ABC analysis is, at the end of the analysis, we are going to, it is similar to Pareto, but it is not Pareto. It is not Pareto analysis. It is trying to classify the A items. Normally, we target around 80% of annual dollar usage or value to be classified as A items. B items are those with around 15%, okay? 12 to 15% or 10 to 15%. And C items are those low value. So it is around 5%, okay? 5% of the total value. And normally the percentage of inventory items, so this is going to be very, if you have 100 items, it's very few. Okay, only 15% of the items. B items is around 30%, okay, and the rest is actually C items. So you have many C items, okay, many C items. But of course, it depends on your company or your analysis. So imagine, assume that I have, you have taken some information. Actually, it's like this. It is, you only have this first. You only have this. So imagine your company, of course, you have this. Basically, this is item. For example, item number 10286. Our annual volume is 1,000 units. And one unit costs us $90. Okay. So all these are actually our annual volume units. And this is our cost, unit cost, right? So this is the first information that we actually have. We haven't done the calculation yet. We haven't done, this 20%, 30%, 50%. So the next step is actually but of course, when you put into Excel or you put into calculation, you won't be able to actually range from the highest to the lowest. So you have, for example, the jumble up. Imagine, this is actually not in a range. So now it's already arranged. So 1,000 multiplied by 90 is 90,000. 500 multiplied by 154 is 77,000. Okay. And these two items, okay, it is valued at, if you calculate the percentage is actually 90,000 divided by the total. Okay, so you get 38.8%. And this is 33.2%. So both this is almost 80% of value. So we classify as A item. Okay, I repeat, you have to calculate the annual dollar volume by multiplying annual volume by unit cost. You'll get annual dollar volume. Find the percentage, get for example, the first two or the first three item is 70%. So the first three item is classified as A. In this case, no. In this case, the first two item is classified A. The next three item is classified as B items. And the rest is C item. Okay. So if you look at this is the percentage of annual dollar volume. If you look at this part here, the percentage of item, this is only 20%. So it's the 80-20 rule. 20% of the item represent 80% of the value. Okay, so you want to control the highest value. The high value needs to be carefully managed. No stock out, no pilferage, no stealing, okay, and so on. Okay, so that's why. Now, any questions? Any questions about this? ABC analysis. So this is A item, B item, C item. Item means these items. These items. So of course, probably you have the item, the name. Okay, the name of the item. For example, this is palm, or this is bearing, or whatever. Okay, and it must total 200%. Right? So ABC analysis tries to classify. So I have now classified the first two, 10286 and also 11526 to be A items. Okay. Right. Probably after we have time, we'll do, a simple, analysis. I'll ask you to do some simple ABC analysis afterwards, taking from the end of the chapter questions. Okay. Of course, ABC analysis is not only annual dollar volume, you can do for any other criteria, okay? Quality problems and so on. But in this case, I would believe that you look at the inventory value, okay? Inventory value. So the policies that you can use, once you do the analysis, you are going to determine the policies. So you can think about more emphasis on supply development for A items, because A items is critical, is very important. So you need to make sure that A items, when you develop your supplier, you achieve the quality that you want. Okay, and also the supplier will be able to deliver, because it is, you need it a lot. Okay, you need that item, not to say a lot, okay, depend on the quantity, but it is of high value. Okay, high value. Secondly, your policy can be tighter control for item A. That means you must have counting, the periodic counting or the perpetual counting must be very accurate. You cannot have, inaccurate A items, what they call quantity. You must have precise A item quantity on hand. For example, if you have a storeroom must have record of physical, actual, because in companies there's problem. Sometimes companies, on the record in the computer, it says remaining 100 items, but when you go physical checking from the computer or the theoretical manual, or insertion of in and out, it's not same as physical in the store. So the records must tally. We call it tally. Tally means same. You go to the storeroom, or you go to the production line, or you go to, it's like this. You know 7-Eleven, and also Combini shop. Okay. In Malaysia, some item like baby milk. Baby milk is very expensive. In Malaysia, very expensive. You know milk, infant milk, Mirku, Kodomo. Sometimes. So this is A item. It's not C item. A item. Bread is C item. You know bread, pang. Pang was C item. Demo milk, infant milk, or even in Malaysia we have Nescafe Gold. Nescafe Gold wah takai ne. Takai. So sometimes they put lock. Lock. Okay. So that is item A. So tighter physical inventory control or forecasting. If you don't have accurate forecasting for consumption, for demand, so A item must have careful forecasting. So that's why you do ABC analysis. Okay, there is another aspect of inventory management is record accuracy. Accurate records is critical in production inventory systems. Okay, not only in you go and stock very difficult. Okay, in medical supplies, for example, expensive medicine. So this must have periodic systems to regularly check inventory. So this periodic, they have 2-bin system. 2-bin means, one is using, one is in the stock area. So one it is finished, then it will be replaced, or not replaced, but delivered to the system. So you have a 2-bin system. Or you have perpetual inventory tracks, receipts and subtraction on a continuing basis. So retail store, they have to do this. You go to Tesco or you go to Nihon wa OK supermarket. So they have perpetual. They keep track on continuous basis. It's maybe semi-automated. They may use RFID, they may use barcode. Okay, today you can use technology, okay, barcode. So things which are checked out will be deducted inventory, okay. So accuracy, record accuracy is very important when you talk about inventory management. To eliminate, for example, loss through stealing or loss through unaccounted, okay. So very important in inventory management, record accuracy. So incoming and outgoing record must be accurate. Incoming and outgoing record keeping must be accurate. Stock rooms should be secure. Stock rooms means your place that you keep your it's not your warehouse, also the same thing, but you keep your stocks, okay. And it is also important to make precise decisions about ordering, scheduling, and shipping, okay. So ordering frequency and ordering quantity must be decided, or must have a system, okay, must have a way of actually determining the quantity to be ordered and when to order, okay. And of course, scheduling. Scheduling is actually, if you have production, then you must make sure that you have inventory on, in stock for production to run, okay, or production to be continuing, okay. Any questions? Let me check the time for one. Okay. Right. So very important to have accurate record. But of course, if you have too accurate, then it's going to be very costly, right? If you then have very frequent, stock take means stock counting is going to be very costly. But I noticed in Japanese organization, Japanese shops, at the end of the day, they will actually get sell off their food which are not sell at the end of the day, have discounts. You notice at the end of the day, they actually give discounts for the food that they actually sell, okay, to get rid of it, okay. Right. And they have accuracy, they have very accurate record. Okay. There is a method which is called cycle counting. Cycle counting is actually counting the items and update the records. So items are going to be counted and the records updated on a periodic basis. I mentioned just now already, when you talk about at the end of the day, the shop actually doing cycle counting. But of course, you cannot do in production, for example, making automotive. You cannot have every day counting how many seats left, and so that's going to be very, very costly, okay. So it depends on the item, okay. That's why we have this ABC analysis. So A items will have a much more frequent cycle counting compared to C items. And also why you have cycle counting, there are advantages. You will eliminate shutdown and interruptions, because if you suddenly don't count and there is no parts, then the production will be interrupted, stop, no production run. And you also eliminate annual inventory adjustment, meaning that if you only count at the end of the year, okay, any discrepancy, meaning any differences between actual and physical, actual, physical, and also the records and actual. So you need to adjust your inventory. You need to actually, minus loss, convert into money. How much loss? For example, inventory which are not accounted for. Okay, for example, the record say you should have 200 of this, for example, A item. Let's say this is some bearings to be used in the car. Suddenly, you actual physical, that's 180. So you have to adjust this 20 times value. So this is loss. So how are you going to account that into accounting? Accounting needs to tell, you need to tell accounting that, this is, where's the stock? No, I cannot find it. How much is value? So the accountant will be screaming at you. So you eliminate that inventory adjustment if you have a periodic counting. Okay. What else? Cycle counting, you will be able to have trained personnel audit inventory accuracy. That means there are people who are going to audit and they know the need to have accurate records. Okay, and normally in companies they have internal auditors that actually do this, checking. And allow errors to be identified and corrected. So if you do it more frequent, you can maintain accurate inventory records. So cycle counting or stock taking is very important in all organizations. For example, this is using ABC analysis. Okay, so using ABC analysis, I want to determine the cycle for counting. Cycle means the frequency. Okay, so for example, we have 5,000 items in the inventory. 500 is A item, 1,700 is B item, 2,700 is C items. Okay, so what I've done is, policy for company is all A items must be counted every month. Policy, this is policy decided by company. B items every quarter. Every quarter means every 3 months. Every 3 months. Whereas C item is every 6 months or maybe 1 year. Okay, you understand? So this is policy decided. So on average, so how much you can actually calculate the cost basically. So we want to calculate the total cost of this. So you can later on calculate the cost. For example, if the item is 500 items, and the policy is every month, assume we work 20 days a month. Assume we work 20 days a month. So on average, the number of items that you count per day is going to be 25. Okay, 500 divided by 20. 25 items per day. And of course, if you take 5 minutes to do the counting, or 25 items a day, maybe you take half an hour, right? So you can calculate the man hours required to do this counting and record keeping. So for A item, for B item, 29 a day, C item, 23 a day. So total 77 items a day. So this depends on, you can actually calculate the total cost for stock taking per day, per year. Okay. Of course, this is, and you can allocate your personnel to actually do the audit checking, cycle counting. Okay, just an example. That means you can use ABC analysis to determine your cycle counting. Okay. Now, Do you think, because we have been talking about production, what about the control of service inventories? Where service inventories exist? For example, in hotels or in what do you call hospitals. Let's say hotel. You know, the cleaner will have the trolley which have the soap, the you know, the toiletries to be changed for each room, right? So these are inventories. Okay, the soaps, the shampoos, and so on. So in service organization, it can be critical component of profitability. Okay, losses may come from shrinkage or pilferage. Pilferage is loss by someone just taking it. Okay, taking it free. It's mine. Okay, so you need to actually, when it involves this, you need to have very obedient, you know, good personnel training, selection, and discipline. You understand? You need to have good employees to actually work in service organizations. Okay, and also tight control of incoming shipments, effective control of all goods leaving facilities. Okay, department stores, you know, department stores, the employee themselves taking out the goods after leaving, after working at the end of the day, 5 o'clock, they take out, you know, they bring out one shirt every day. What happened to the what do you call, to the shop, you know? So control of service inventories, it is much more difficult. Okay. Any experience, any example that you can think of, Jacob? Any service inventories that you can think of?
Service in inventory. Service inventory is very difficult actually. Like service inventory.
Inventories in service organization actually.
Like a lawyer is a service organization.
Your area?
Lawyer.
Yeah, lawyer is a service organizations.
But
They have what inventory they have? They have reams of papers, they have files, they have
right.
clips, they have
Yes, yes.
stationaries in
Stationary items,
office are
especially
very,
office and stationery.
yeah, stationaries, papers, clips, pens.
Clips, pens,
See,
computers, right? Like
pens
this.
given in the office is only for the office work, not, you know, bring home and give the children. Okay, this is pen, free pen. No, it's not free pen. It's company's pen or pencil. So those are, okay. Can see how difficult in hotels or in hospitals. Okay, you know, there are hospital that, you know, people working in the pharmacy, you know, nurses and people working in the pharmacy dispensary, medicines. They say, oh, this is Panadol, okay, bring home for my children. Is it acceptable? Can you bring, you know, Panadol or paracetamol in the hospital and bring home for your own consumption?
That is not
That's
ethical.
what we talk about, inventories in service organizations. You can see it's a lot, you know. That's why selection, training, and discipline, tight control of incoming shipments, effective control of all goods. That means the security will have to check the bag, what contains in the bag of employees'
Professor,
work. Huh?
I'm feeling very dizzy.
Oh, okay. So you want to have a break or you want to take a rest? Okay, it's okay.
Can I? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
okay.
want to take some
Yeah,
rest.
go. It's okay. No problem. No problem.
Thank you, Professor. Even
Okay. Why don't we have now it's 8:53. Why don't we have 10 minutes break for you to have some coffee? Because the next topic is I'm going to talk about inventory models. Okay. Any questions? Take a 10 minutes rest. But if you're not okay, it's okay. Jacob, you can
okay, Professor.
take a rest. Okay.
Thank
Any
you very much. I
questions?
can also hear you,
Okay. Right. No problem. Any question? Rio, Anika, semua nggak arimasu ka? No. So take 10 minutes break, come back after, not 10 minutes, it's 9 o'clock, about 5 minutes, okay? 9 o'clock, I'll start back. Okay, so take a 5 minutes break, take a rest. All right, see you afterwards. Okay, now I would like to introduce you to inventory models. As I said just now, we are going to only cover independent demand. Okay, the demand for item is dependent of the is independent. Okay, it's independent item for any item in inventory. That means it is you have no relationship with other demands basically. But the dependent demand, the need for the item is it will depend on the demand for the other item. For example, if you want to produce, this is like this. Okay, if you want to produce one car and you need 4 tires. Okay, so you need to, if you want to produce 200 cars, then because it is dependent, okay, it's dependent on this 200. So you need 800 tires to be supplied. Okay, so this is called dependent. Independent is, for example, you go to you want to buy a car, you want to buy your own telephone. You know, it is the retailer doesn't have any idea, right? So it is independent. So independent demand, normally when you talk about inventory costs, inventory models, we're going to actually balance some costs. Inventories, if you think about it, you will incur some holding costs. Any inventory that you keep, you need to pay for, or even if you don't pay for it, there are costs involved of holding the inventory. I mean, keeping the inventory. So it is also called holding costs or carrying costs over time. Okay, over time. So it's called holding costs. A second cost element for inventory is ordering costs. Okay, ordering. So when you place an order, and receive the goods, there are costs involved. Costs, for example, issuing the purchase order, issuing the purchasing request, going through the internet and searching for the items, and then issuing. Today is probably cheaper through the internet, but during the old ages, during the old days, you need to fill up a form. You need to actually justify how many quantities, okay, and so on. So it is called ordering costs. And but for machine, we don't have ordering costs. We have setup costs. Costs to prepare a machine or process for manufacturing and order, or cost of setting up the work. Okay, it is related to setup time. Okay, before you can do your, for example, photocopy, right? Before you can do printing on your machine, you need to actually hook up, connect to the printer, and then switch on the printer, right? So these are set up costs, even in production, before you can do the production process itself. So there are holding costs, ordering costs, and setup costs. So holding costs, depending on the type of product, depending on the item, okay, and depending on company policies. So holding costs can, or carrying costs for that matter, same, okay, carrying costs can be, come up to a total of 26% of the value of the item, okay. For example, there are building rents or depreciation, operating cost, taxes, insurance. There are housing costs. It can be 6%. In this case, it can range from 3 to 10%. Now, for example, for this item, you put it at 6%. Material handling costs, 3%. Labor cost, 3%. Investment cost, 11%. That means borrowing, tax, insurance on the inventory. You keep the item, you need to put insurance. You have to pay some insurance. What if the item is being stolen or damaged and so on? Okay. So this also fall under filtration, space and obsolescence, 3%. Okay. So this is the cost as a percentage of the inventory value. Okay. So you have holding cost. Any inventory that you keep, there are holding costs. And again, it depends on the item. It depends on also on the policy of the company as well. So holding costs will vary, will change according to business, location, and interest rates. Generally greater than 15%, and some high-tech and fashion item has 40% of holding or carrying costs. Holding, keeping, cost of keeping the inventory. So in I think that is okay. Ordering, we can talk about the frequency of order, and then the cost of employee, purchase officer, and so on. Okay, so in the inventory model for independent demand, questions that we're interested in, what are we interested in? What do you want to actually answer? What do you need to answer? Actually, we want to know, we need to determine when to order and how much to order. Okay, so most important is actually how much to order, because we do not want to have too frequent order. For example, your demand for a year is 100,000 parts, and if you order one time only 100,000, and you use it, for example, 10,000 or 15,000 a month, so the remainder is actually kept as a holding. But if you order 50,000 twice a year, two times, 50,000, 50,000, you only order two times. What if you order three times from the 100,000 demand? Okay, so you want to know how much to order and when to order. So you have these three models. One is EOQ model, the basic economic order quantity. Okay, economic order quantity model, the basic, or the production order quality model, and the quantity discount model. So basically all this model will answer when and how much to order. But before we go to the detailed calculation, there is a model. When you say model, there is a calculation, and there is how it is being determined. So we want to make this assumption. Assumption means this is what we believe it is true. It may not be true. Okay, this is what we believe. Assumptions. Demand is known. You know the demand. It is constant. Demand is constant, and it is independent. And lead time is known. Lead time means how long does it take when you order and the time it will be delivered, or what do you call, the inventory going to fill up. And it is constant, known and constant. That means the lead time doesn't change. But in real world, of course, lead time will change, okay, because of, like for example, now pandemic. So that will actually, you need to do some adjustment basically. But for this case, it's a very basic model. And receipt of inventory is instantaneous and complete. That means once you actually order, it will, when, for example, you order at time 0, okay, and at time, for example, the lead time is 15 days. So at time 15 days, so of course, this is, for example, 100. Then you use, it will actually increase to 100 back. Okay, so this is the kind of model that we are looking at instantaneous and complete. That means it will increase the inventory instantaneously. EOQ does not allow quantity discounts. We have other, the other quantity discount model, but the basic EOQ does not consider quantity discounts, and only variable costs. The only variable cost is the setup or the ordering cost. Okay, so in this case, it's not setup; it's actually ordering because you're purchasing or purchasing, and stock out is completely avoided. That means you assume there is no stock out. You assume that it is the inventory is enough during this consumption time. Okay, because you have 100, so you consume, it become less. For example, this is already 50, become less. Okay, it becomes 0 after time equals to lead time. So you assume no stock out. No stock out means there is no negative value, there is no negative quantity. Anyway, we'll look at this model now. So the inventory usage over time is like this. So we start at time 0. We have a certain quantity, 100, right? So this is usage, meaning that it is the usage rate. So your stock will reduce as time goes by. Okay, like I mentioned just now, if it is 15 days, it will become 0 at day 15. But at day 15, because you already ordered at time 0, no, let's okay, there is actually a reorder point. Okay, let's say at time 12 you order, 12 lead time is 3 days. Instantaneously it will increase back to 100. Then you use it. Wakarimasu ka? Wakaranai. So you use this.
わからないです。
Wakaranai desu.
もう一度でよろしいです。
Okay, so for example, now you, for example, 例えば you buy, rice, gohan, 10 kilo. You have factory, you buy rice, 10 kilogram. Okay, make it 100 kilogram rice. 100 kilogram rice. You make product, means you make mochi, for example. So every day, there is, not every day, your usage is, for example, you use 5 kilogram per day. 5 kilogram per day. So this is day 1. After 1 day, from 100, what is remaining? So now what is the remaining stock? 100 minus 5. 95, that's all. So here is 95. This is cocoa 95. So it will go down 90. Because it's day 2, 90. Day 3, 85. Day 4, 80. Wakarimasu ka? Skoshi jutsu. Stock wa suku ni narimasu. Okay, so it will become 80, 70 until it become 0. 0. So 0 after 20 days. Because 5 times 20 is 100 kilogram. Negara 0 here is 20 days. So one cycle is 20 days. From 100, then become 0. Okay. So this is, but you can order. When do you order? So this is something that we can calculate this and we can determine. This is what we call as economic order quantity. Okay, economic order quantity. So this is consumption. Usage rate is consumption rate. How much you use per day or per month or per week. Okay, and this is your total order received. But anyway, let's see the model first. And of course, we have average inventory Q over 2. Q over 2 is the average inventory anytime during the cycle. Okay, this cycle, you will have Q over 2 inventory. Now, so I said just now that you have holding costs. The more that you know the quantity is, if it is you keep the quantity low, your holding cost is low. All annual cost, okay, annual cost. So holding cost is linear with Q. Okay, the more that you keep in stock, the higher your holding cost. Okay, but your ordering cost, if you order a lot, okay, your number of orders, actually it is the number of orders is going to be less. So you have this curve here. So this is the setup or the order cost. So what we are going to, when we total your, because total inventory cost is equals to total ordering cost plus total holding cost. Okay. So this is the minimum line, minimum, where these two intersects. So we want to know Q star. So if I can have a model, if I can have a formula to calculate Q star that will minimize my total cost, then I can use that as my order quantity. Okay, I can use that as my order quantity. So the objective is actually to minimize total cost. Minimize total cost. And total cost is given by holding cost plus order cost. Okay, so these two costs is giving the total cost. So we have a formula for this. Right. I already explained to this. By minimizing the sum of setup cost and holding costs, total costs are minimized. The optimal order size Q star, we call it Q star. Okay, Q star will minimize total cost. And a reduction in either cost reduces the total cost, and optimum order quantity occurs when holding costs and setup costs are equal. That means total holding cost, okay, this is also the same thing, equals to total ordering cost. This is when minimum. So this is when you have your minimum order quantity. Okay. Right. So this is a little bit of mathematics. I think you need to understand this. You need to think about this. So let's assume that, okay, Q is the number of units per order. Okay, Q is number of units per order. You have D. D is annual demand, annual usage. For example, just now the ABC analysis, annual usage, 10,000 units, for example, or 100,000 units. Okay, so that is in terms of units, units, items. And we have set up or ordering costs for each order that you can calculate, that you can be assigned. And H also you can also assign. You can know, ordering costs, carrying costs. So the annual holding, not holding, ordering costs, annual ordering costs or annual setup costs, annual ordering costs is how many times you order and multiply by the order cost. Okay, let's eliminate this. Order cost per order. Okay, number of orders placed per year multiplied by the cost of ordering per times that you order. Okay, And the number of orders is annual demand divided by number of units in each order. Okay, so D over Q times S, or this what do you call order cost. Okay, order cost per order. Understand? D over Q. For example, if the demand is 100,000. If the number of units that you order is 1,000. So how many orders do you have to do in a year? 10, right? I repeat. The annual demand is 100,000. Every year you are going to require 100,000 parts. And if you order 1,000 every time, so you're going to actually make 100 orders. Betul? Correct? 100 orders. So 100 orders times S, if S is $2, then it is actually going to be $200. Wakarimasu ka? Okay. So the number of orders, what happen if I, order 2,000 pieces every time? How many times do I need to order now? A year? 50. The show. Moikai. If I order 1,000, I need to order 100 times. 100 times. If I order 2,000, every time I order 2,000, I only need 50 times. Half, hambun lagi. Because my order quantity is higher than this. So this is order quantity, Q. Number of units for every order. Okay. So that's why it is like this curve. Because if Q is what do you call small, this is 100. Q is 2,000. Therefore, cost is going to be lower. Saki. So if this is 2,000, this is 1,000. Of course, this cost is higher than this, because setup cost is, for example, is only say this is 50 times. Okay, so 50 times 2 is 100, for example. This is 100 times 2 is 200. Okay. Let me finish this. Okay. So do you have this holding, not so carrying cost? Holding cost is very, very, very straightforward. Holding cost is very easy. So annual setup cost. So we have the first equation. First equation, annual setup cost is equals to D over Q divided times S. D divided by Q times S. And the next thing is actually holding cost. Okay, holding cost is average inventory times holding cost per year. So Q over 2 times holding cost per unit per year. So if you equate this, I said just now, total setup cost must equal total ordering cost equals to total holding cost. When you equate this, make it same, equals, and you solve for Q star. Instead of Q, you put Q star, which is the optimum quantity, or your EOQ. Your EOQ is going to be square root of 2 times DS divided by H. So this is the only formula that actually derived from this. So Q star is square root of 2 times demand times setup cost divided by holding cost. Okay, when you solve this. Example, example. No example, cannot understand. Definitely. Find the optimum number of needles to order. Demand is 1,000 units per year. Setup cost is $10 per order. Per order, okay? Setup is always cost per order. Holding cost is per unit per year or percentage of the price. Percentage of the price, okay? So in this case, your Q star is equals to 2 times D times S divided by H. Okay, D is 1,000, S is 10, H is 0.5. So you'll have a square root of 100 is equals to 200 units. So every time you're going to actually have, so 11, you have 1,000, you have 1,000 units. So there is only 5 cycles. 5 cycles. Every cycle there is 200 units. So 200 times 5 is 1,000. Okay. So you only have this now. You only have your Q star. Q star. This is, but you can have this information as well. This cycle time. Okay. Which is okay. Expected number of orders is 5 orders per year. D divided by Q star. Now it's Q star. It's no more Q. Q can be from many what do you call quantity, right? So 5 orders per year. Now, if the if the number of working days per year is 250, now I can determine this what do you call cycles. So it says that 1 year is 250 days working. So because we have 5 cycles, so this is every time is 50 days. 50 times 5 is 250 days. Okay. So that's the cycle. So we now know that we need to know the number of working days per year, expected number of orders. So we have 50 days. T is equals to 50 days. So now you can determine the total annual cost is equals to D over Q times S plus Q over 2 times S. So you have $100. This is your total inventory cost for this model, for this item, okay? This is one particular item, the needle just now, the needle. So imagine, of course, in companies, you'll have to have a spreadsheet for this. Okay, I'm not going to show this. So the EOQ model is robust. It means that even all the parameters assumptions are not met. If you don't meet the the assumptions, the total cost curve is relatively flat. For example, if demand is not 1,000, it is 1,500. So your ordering cost, okay, total cost is for the old Q star is 200 units. Okay, it's going to be 125. If you calculate your new Q star based on 1,500, your Q star is 245. Okay, 245. That means you every time you order 255, but your total cost is similar. It's almost that's why it says it's robust. Even if you keep to 200, it is not really change. Okay, it's not really change. So it is very robust. Very robust means, for example, this total cost, even you change Q, little bit, okay, it is actually not affecting the total cost. So it's only 2% less than the total cost of $125 when the order quantity is 200. Okay, so the order quantity is 200, 125, order quantity of 244.9 of 245, total cost. So you can do sensitivity analysis to see whether the queue, you change the queue will affect the total cost. Okay. Right. I need to tell you also this, the reorder point, because if you do not know the reorder point, when to order. Now we only know how much to order queue, but another thing is the reorder points. Reorder points is given by this formula, demand per day times the lead time for a new order in days. So if you know the demand for the year and the number of working days, so you know the D, okay? And reorder point is small d times L, okay? So this is the reorder point curve. This is the reorder point. For example, this is your Q star. You will reach this, smaller quantity, lower, it will reduce until it reach this reorder point. So reorder, lead time. So this is your, you can calculate reorder point. For example, if your quantity is Q and reorder point is 180, that means you order when it reaches 180. Okay. So this is an example. Now, so reorder point is given D is demand for iPhones is 8,000 per year, 250 working days. Lead time is 3 working days, or we may take 4 days. D is equals to 32 units per day. So your reorder point is 32 times 3 days, it is 96 units, or 4 days is 128 units. Okay. Of course, you need to know the Q star as well. This is not showing the Q star. You can calculate the Q star when you have total cost and holding cost as well as